Hey guys, how's it going? And if you didn't know, in the newest update, they have a new block known as the Lodestone. And essentially, when you right click on it, it makes a compass track it. Now, you may be thinking, this video is kind of pointless. This is something very simple. All we got to do is just give them the right compass or something. But it's not quite as simple as that. There's a few intricacies that you want to have to keep this multiplayer friendly. So if you're just here for the pack, go ahead. It's in the description. You know how to download a pack by now. If you don't, you can look up a video. If you're here to see how it's done, I'm going to kind of make it step by step here with you guys. So the key component is you have a lodestone compass and you have a lodestone. But here's a problem. When I break the lodestone, the compass has no idea where to point to. Oh no, it's all crazy. It's just like if you were in the nether. So essentially we need to set a lodestone and make the compass track it. And you have to make sure that the lodestone is at the block that the compass is tracking. So let's try and figure out what this compass is doing special than a normal. So data get entity as selected item. That'll tell me the MBT associated with this. So it shows that there's a lodestone tracked and a lodestone pause. All right, so we can first do a trick by trying to give myself one that is exactly like that and see if it stays tracked. So give myself a compass with the MBT of lodestone tracked 1B, lodestone pause x 17, y 56, z -17. Now the y coordinate is not actually going to matter all that much, except for just give yourself a lodestone, and the compass and the lodestone is already there when you get the compass. Then it go ahead and points. So these are all the things we need to keep in mind when making a data pack that supports lodestone compass tracking. So essentially, we need to come up with a system that sets the block, then gives everybody a new compass every time the player moves, which can take some time. So we're going to make it on a slower clock than 20 Hertz. So we're going to call this, we'll update every half a second. That should be fast enough to look good. So to make something happen every half a second, you schedule it. So TC main 10T, 10 ticks. Just like that. So this will play every half a second as long as we initially begin this loop from the init function. This is the startup function. Happens once when you start up or reload. All right, so what we need to do is we need to do execute as, and what we're going to do is this is going to be multiplayer friendly, and it'll also for now this is going to be a simple system. It's going to cover one player, but you can expand it to multiple players. Just for the sake of time, we're going to track one person. So execute as at a tag equals tracked, and this will just work at one tracked player. Then we are going to do run function tc track. All right, so this will play a separate function, and what this function is going to do is it's going to do all the stuff we want it to. So essentially what we're going to do is first we're going to go ahead and do execute at e tag equals track aec run set block air. All right, so this is important for later because what we need to do is we need to set a lodestone, and the lodestone needs to disappear eventually. Okay, and by eventually I mean like eventually. Even if the player logs off, the lodestone should disappear at some point. So I mean really this shouldn't even be a part of this. It should just be right out here. They should always disappear eventually, and then kill at e tag equals track AEC. Yeah, so you want to refresh the area effect clouds before you put a new one, so that you only have one at one time. All right, so we're going to summon area effect cloud, and we're going to do execute at s run, and then we're going to summon an area effect cloud that is 255 in the air and has the tags of track AEC. So this is going to give us an area effect cloud that is in the sky, but at 255. You can also do it at 0. I guess I'll do 0 just because we're probably in an overworld anyway. All right, so then at the coordinate of 0, so then what we do is we do execute at e tag equals track. Well, you can just copy we can move this at all the way back out here. And we're summoning the area effect cloud so that later we can delete the lodestone. So set block lodestone. And it won't recognize it in my syntax filer because it's a new block. All right, so it's almost done, right? So now we have to do execute as at a tag equals not tracked. All right, yeah. Anybody who's not tracked. Run function tc get compass. So this will give them the compass that is going to track the person. All right, so now we come into the situation of you have a bunch of people, if they have the proper compass. Now, we're going to keep in mind that they might not have the compass, and you may not want them to have the compass. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for a compass called like track compass or something. So let's call this thing refresh compass. Get compass will give you the compass. It'll be something easy for people to understand. All right, if we see that if they have an MPT of inventory and they have a tag of tracker compass 1B. All right, so and then semicolon. So they have something that has a special tag, and that special tag is tracker compass. All right, and then this will do give at p compass tracker compass 1B. All right, so this will give you the special compass when you play it. All right, or at s. All right, so this will play refresh compass. And what we need to do, this is really the trickiest part, is we need to basically figure out where the compass come from. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then we have to go, where are you going? Where's the compass gonna go back to? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. So there's two things that you need for this. You're gonna need a loot table and a shulker box. So we're going to have to get this shulker box. So there's a couple things. First, we need to have a dedicated shulker box somewhere. So we're gonna do set block 420 69 0 420 69 shulker box. All right, and then force load these coordinates so that you can access it later. This should come first. All right, so we force load those coordinates, meaning we can manipulate them even when they're not loaded. And then we put a shulker box and make sure that it's under a bedrock. All right, so now we just have to do data remove block there. Okay. Okay, and then we remove that block's items. Okay, so that it's empty. Then we do data modify block items set value. All right, so now we're putting something in there, and we're putting something that has an ID of compass and a tag count of 1 and a tag of, and then this is all the stuff we typed earlier. So let's copy that. Copy that there and delete the word compass. All right, so now let's copy this and paste it, and it's all green, so it's probably good. Now let's just change this to 0 0 0. All right, so this is like a default compass. All right, and really this is some global stuff, so it's not player specific. So we could even go as far as to do this, but you wouldn't want to do that if you were doing like a track 2 people at once thing, but this is track 1 person. Okay, so then we're going to do data execute store results. So this is clearing item, the old item, putting a new item in, and now we need to edit the coordinates, the XYZ. So store results block at that coordinates dot tag dot lodestone pause dot x, and that's going to be the first one. and then do run data get entity as pause at 0. So this will, and it should be, oh, int 1. All right, and that should be correct. So it's going to put your position, but as an integer, so a whole number, into the x coordinate. All right, so now we paste that 3 times, and this one is going to be a set value. So we're going to do, instead for the y, we're going to do a data modify. All right, so that puts up the item, and then that puts on the coordinates. So realistically, you could have this thing in one of 37 positions, because you can also put it here, right? So we're gonna have to account for every single one of those. So we just really have to do, this is probably gonna be kind of crazy. So let's go ahead and create a scoreboard for this. So scoreboard objectives, add compass dummy. All right. We'll even call it TC compass. All right, so now we have to do execute store result score add s TC compass run data get entity add s. So you're gonna look for where this thing is. So where it is, and the where comes into the word slot here. So if you do that, then it will return the slot that it's in. And I don't actually have one, and there's no scoreboard like that. So let's reload, put TC compass on the sidebar. It says slot 1B, right? Then we do this again, and now it's slot 6. So it doesn't return to the proper slot. It knows what's going on. And we don't even have to do add s because of the way that threads work. Since it'll have to do this for each player, so it'll have to do everything here for this player. So we can just say slot. So that'll say the slot. All right, so then execute if score slot TC compass matches 0. Then loot replace, and let's go ahead and clear add s this item. So delete it and then put a new one. So replace entity at s. And we can just mess with the loot command. It's inventory.0, just like that. So going to replace the 0 slot, then you're going to mine the specific thing with any item that has drop contents true. And we have to put a 1 here. Keep this is very important. A 1 here, otherwise your whole inventory gets deleted. All right, so you need a special loot table, and that loot table has the shulker box in it. And what this loot table does is if you have the drop contents on, it does not drop itself. It just drops anything that's inside it. It doesn't drop like, it basically pops all the items out. So we need this, and guess how many we need? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 37, as we discussed before. So I'm going to fill these out. All right, so there's a few adjustments I had to make. So hotbar.0 is the one that is dedicated as 0 and 1 and 2 and 6, right? And then inventory.0 is actually this slot right here, I believe. So that will actually put it to those slots. And then the last one is -106 as your offhand. So that's how you put it back in the offhand. And that will put everything together. All right, so as you can see now that we're in, the item kind of does this weird bopping thing because it's constantly being cleared, but it'll constantly point towards him, or at least in his rough direction. And it updates every half a second. So as you can see, it's just moving constantly and pointing at him. If you want to give players a compass, you type /function tc get compass, and you can just do this as everybody, or you can just, you know, grab a bunch and give them to everybody. And then also, if you want to make somebody get tracked, you just do function tc track me. It'll be a function there, but you just play that and that'll track them, or you do tag and then the player add tracked. But the track me is a better idea to do it because you're only allowed to have one at a time, so it'll make sure that you can only have one. But anyways, that's pretty much it, guys. If you thought this was useful or interesting, go ahead and leave a like and let me know what you want to see next. I have a couple things lined up, but they're more huge projects, so they're not the kind that like will be out anytime soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.